Hi, this is Mia. I live in Dali, Yunnan province. This morning I woke up like any other day. I opened my eyes, made my bed, brushed my teeth, and started thinking about breakfast. Last night I soaked some soybeans. I was looking forward to making fresh soy milk this morning. Honestly, I love slow morning like this. No rush, no traffic, just a quiet start to the day. I added water, put everything in the blender, pressed the button, and nothing happened. No sound, no spinning. The power was out, and by 9 a.m., it still hadn't come back. So I grabbed some grapes and a banana, hopped on my electronic scooter, and decided to turn a disrupted morning into a little adventure. There's a temple not far from where I live called Luochuan Temple. I heard about it for a while because they serve vegetarian lunch there. I actually want to try it before, but somehow I never find the right day. Maybe today was the perfect excuse. According to what I found online, lunch started at 11:30 and I heard it cost around 20 RMB, about $3. I arrived a little earlier, around 11, so I parked my scooter and walked by the lake for a while. The weather was beautiful, the sky was completely clear, but the wind was crazy. Some days Erhai Lake looks calm and bright blue, but today the water looked dark and powerful. The mountains were still there. At 11:33, I walked into the dining hall. Honestly, I was prepared for a long line because many vegetarian meals around the other side of Dali are very popular. Sometimes people wait for a long time. When I arrived, there were only a few people. I suddenly feel a little confused. I saw a table of people eating and asked, "Excuse me, where do I pay?" They looked at me and said, "It's free." I didn't believe them. Then a monk nearby confirmed it. I said, "I heard it was 20 RMB. Is that not right?" He smiled and said, "No charge. It's free. Just eat." So I finally let myself relax. I grabbed a bowl and chopsticks and went to serve myself. There were six dishes and one soup. Everything was vegetarian. I'm not a vegetarian, but I have to say the food was really good. Simple, fresh, comforting. While I was eating, I kept wondering, if this meal is free for everyone, how does this place keep running? Is this a recent change? Were they charged before? I don't have the answer, but I couldn't help but admire the quiet generosity of it. After lunch, I decided to continue riding north toward Sona. On the way, I stopped at Xiaoputuo, a tiny temple sitting on a small island in Erhai Lake. Just one small building surrounded by water. There were plenty of tourists around and all taking photos with the Changshan mountains as their backdrop. And I also noticed the three giant pomegranate statues nearby. In Chinese culture, pomegranate symbolize fertility and blessings. Many children, many blessings. No wonder so many people were stopping for photos. I wanted to go further, but I checked my battery and realized I already come about 24 kilometers from home. If I went any further, I might not make it back, so I turned around. The ride back was beautiful, mostly coastal highway, with the lake on one side and mountains on the other. The only downside, it was incredibly windy today. The water looked dark and deep, not that bright turquoise blue you see on a calm day. But there is different kind of beauty in that too. On the way back, I stopped and bought a small watermelon, about $2. The seller offered to cut it for me, and for some reason my brain said, "No, thank you. I'll do it myself." 5 minutes later, I regretted everything. I found the perfect picnic spot by the lake. Trees for shade, green reeds by the water, white seagulls flying around. I parked my scooter, I grabbed the watermelon, and then I realized I didn't have a knife. I called a friend and described my situation. I asked, is there any way to eat this watermelon right now? He laughed and said, use your key. I tried. I really did. I used my key to score two lines and tried to craft it open with my hands. I managed to get one piece of mostly skin with just a tiny bit of flesh. I was no closer to eat the actual fruit. No knife, no spoon, just me and an uncut watermelon mocking me from my scooter basket. I kept reading and eventually spotted a coffee stand by the roadside. I walked over and asked, do you have a small knife? She said yes. I said, I don't drink coffee though. I'm sorry. She waved it off. That's fine. You can sit here anyway. I cut the watermelon and the first pieces I offered to her. She kept refusing, saying no, 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 but I insisted. She finally accepted with a shy smile. Nothing about today went according to plan. I woke up without power. I expected to pay for a meal and didn't. I thought I'd eat watermelon by the lake. Then I realized I couldn't open it, and a stranger lent me a knife. A lot of things went wrong today, but somehow that made it memorable. Isn't that what life is like? Especially here on the mountain. You make plans, you have expectations, and then the day quite hands you something totally different. Not necessarily better or worse, just different. It was just an ordinary day, no big agenda, no deep lesson, just a free meal, a windy lake, and a watermelon I couldn't open until someone helped. And honestly, that's enough. Thanks for riding along with me today. See you in the next one.